Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on DatoCMS course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, right there, get a hold of me, Marcelo, at headlesscreator.com. Today, my special guest presenter, and no, I am not saying it's going to be me, but his name is Marcelo as well. Marcelo Finamor Vieria, and he's a customer support engineer at DatoCMS, and he's going to show us the many places that a DatoCMS plugin can manipulate inside of DatoCMS in the authoring experience. You'll see what we mean in just a minute. He's going to actually show you a variety of plugins, and we're going to be coding some live, actually. So it's going to be really, really cool. But before we get started, you know how this works. I'm going to tell you real quick about headlesscreator.com. Go there, get your free account. Once you get your free account, this lesson will be available on demand in the course. There's Marcelo. And in the course, you'll have access to a bunch of lessons and a whole bunch of other stuff focused on DatoCMS. Also, you'll have full access to all the other courses, including Content Modeling Weekly, Discover Headless Tech, all the focus on courses, plus the personalization bootcamp, and I'm about to launch one on composable DXP with Uniform. So tons of stuff. Get your free account. I've got great news to announce. I wanted to close this year with 1,000 registered users. Everybody knew I surpassed that, and my goal was now 1,400 registered users, but today I hit 1,400. So I'm hoping that I'll close with a little bit more by the end of 2021. Anyway, that's it. No more marketing. I'm done with the marketing stuff. Just go get your free account. You won't regret it. Now, having said that, the on-demand version has absolutely no marketing whatsoever. So I'm going to restart the intro, and I'll see you back in 10 seconds. Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on DatoCMS course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, right there, get a hold of me, Marcelo, at headlesscreator.com. Today, my special guest presenter is Marcelo Finamor Vieria. I tried to do it with my best Italian accent that I could. He's a customer support engineer at DatoCMS, and he's going to show us the many places that a DatoCMS plugin can manipulate in the authoring experience. So we're going to get to that real soon. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and invite Marcelo in. Let's bring him in. Marcelo, welcome.
Hi. Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. I'm going to start out by saying I have to commend your mom and dad for the name they chose.
Thank you.
I may be biased. I'm not sure if I could be biased a little bit, but I think Marcelo is a wonderful name. So you must be an incredible person.
I agree.
So you're in Italy now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're originally from Brazil, I think, when we spoke, you told me.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Argentina, so I think Marcelo is a very common name in Latin America, right?
Yeah. I was born there. I lived there for 18 years. I went through high school there.
So you speak Portuguese?
My mother language is Portuguese. Then I learned English in high school as well, and now I'm learning Italian.
Now, your English is impeccable. Were you here in the States at all, or no just all from school?
Yeah.
Yeah, because your accent is just really, really good.
Thank you. I think it's possibly because we consume a lot of American media, so every single movie, series.
Thank you, Hollywood, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I learned in Argentina before I came here. I didn't speak much English when I came here, but I learned I could understand a little bit by listening to the Beatles.
Oh,
I'm old, okay? So we used to listen.
I love the Beatles. I know every single song as well.
Exactly. So we used to listen to the Beatles on a record player, and I would sing "Help," but I had no clue what I was singing. But I was singing "Help." So anyway, all right. So you're a customer support engineer at DatoCMS. How did you get? You're a developer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get into web development?
I went to college in Italy already, in Turin, and there I met Matteo, which also has presented here. I met him at a coding camp for beginners when I was in my first year of college.
Okay.
And he kind of taught me a lot of places, a lot of free places to learn web development. And then I just got into it. I did the college by all the years, but I also, in the meantime, I was learning web development. And when it came time, Mateo called me to work at Dato as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. So that's what you're doing right now, and that's how you got into Headless, I'm assuming, through
Yeah.
DatoCMS. Yep. Yep.
Yes, that was it.
Okay. Very cool. Well, we're going to get started real soon, but I'd like to close out all my interviews with something personal. And since we were talking about the Beatles, and you said you listened to a lot of them, what's your favorite Beatles song?
My favorite Beatles song. That's a
That's a
great
hard one,
question.
right? I know.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with. I think it was Frank Sinatra that said once that something is the best love song ever written, and I think I agree with him. It's
Something, you
just
know what? And it must be Marcelo's Think Alike because that's one of my
yeah,
favorite songs too. Yeah,
it's really good.
I agree. So, by the way, before we jump, did you watch Get Back on Disney Plus?
I didn't. I didn't. I
You're
don't even
good. If
have
you're a Beatle
I
fan,
need
which
to.
sounds like you're a Beatle fan, you will love it. You will
Uh,
definitely love it.
I'll definitely do it. I'll definitely do it.
Yeah,
I
cool.
also heard about Yesterday, but that's not a documentary, just a
The
kind of
movie is
related movie.
fantastic. It's a
I want to
great
watch it.
movie, great concept. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers, but definitely watch it. Yes, I think
I'll give it a
as a
try.
Beatle fan, you will enjoy it, and the concept is super cool.
Great. I'll
Yeah.
give it a look.
Sounds good. All right, but nobody's here for Beatles, you know. I think just and but I got to tell you, I love the fact that you're so young and really can appreciate, the Beatles. That's great.
I think Beatles transcends every generation. I think everybody knows the Beatles.
I agree. My kids know the Beatles, but I forced it on them. All right, enough of the Beatles. Let's get to it. Marcelo, I'm going to let you take over. Everybody, you know how it works. There's a chat. If you have any questions, go ahead and put the questions in there. I'll ask Marcelo. Marcelo, if I have questions, I'll jump in, but it's all yours, man.
Okay, so pretty much we're going to talk about plugins today and how to build plugins to customize your DatoCMS experience. So what plugins can actually do with on DatoCMS? They can actually modify the dashboard so they can provide a custom experience for your content creators, and they can too automate certain parts of your content creation, so making things easier for your content creators, or even making sure that there are less mistakes from your content creators. So plugins we already had an SDK before this one. This is the SDK v2, but now we can do things much more powerful things and much easier. So and this new SDK it revolves around two different concepts. There are hooks and the context object, and I'm gonna jump between them because they kind of complement each other. So I'm gonna go start first with hooks and talk about how you can build some things with the hooks, and then I'm gonna talk how you can use the context to build a more meaningful plugin. So we're gonna
And
start
real
right
quick,
here.
before you jump on that, I just want to
Sure.
mention to people that I did a plugin lesson in the Focus on Data CMS course where it's more from the user perspective. And also I did, so they can look at that to learn a bit more about, but that's the old plugin architecture. From my understanding, and correct me, Marcelo, if I'm wrong, but the old plugin architecture is not going away. That still stays there. This
It
one
still stays
is
there.
right. So both lessons are valid. Just for those people that may
Absolutely.
be confused, like, hey, what happens to the old plugin? It's still around.
It's still around, and you can if you choose, you can migrate old plugins to the new SDK, or you can just keep maintaining them on the old SDK, but it's still there.
Fantastic.
So going into hooks, I'm gonna start with this. I can't zoom for some reason. Hold on. Oh, I'm gonna use the plus. Okay. Going into hooks, I'm gonna start with these two hooks that are very simple. They complement each other as well, and they're gonna allow us to build a custom sidebar panel, as we can see right here. So first of all, I want to start building a plugin from scratch, which is really simple in the new SDK. I'm going to open the documentation here really quickly, go into build first plugin, and we already have a command here ready for us that we are going to just paste on the terminal. I'm going to paste without the new line, and I'm going to rename the plugin to be my first plugin Focus. And I'm going to use TypeScript right here because it's going to help us. You don't actually have to use TypeScript, but it's going to help us a lot with the auto completion. So while it creates the React app in the background, I just want to talk a little bit more about those two plugins. This first this hook right here, it's gonna allow us to actually declare the sidebar panel, and the second hook is gonna render our content for the sidebar panel. It's gonna become much clearer when we actually use it. So let's just wait a little bit for it to create. It can take some time. Create React app is pretty slow.
And so while it's creating, do they usually, this is the process that you have to start with? Is this a template driven process, or is there a different process as well for starting the plugin?
You can do it without the template, but I would recommend for you to always use the template when you're creating a plugin on this new SDK, because it's just, it spits you out in a way that you can already start programming, start testing your plugin. It's really ready. It's there. You can do it without it, but this is
the best way.
Yep. Yeah, let's cd into it, and I'm gonna code dot, and I'm gonna npm start, so we can also start using it right away. So here is our VS Code, and we are gonna start on this index.tsx file. It starts with this connect and this hook, which it is already pre-built, and it's already rendering a config screen. So let's check it out on our dashboard. It's on localhost. Let me copy the localhost. I'm going to open, this is just a standard demo DatoCMS project. I'm going to go into settings, plugins. I'm going to add a new plugin. I'm going to go into create a new plugin, which was what we did. I'm going to say my first plugin. You can add a small description. I'm not going to do this here. I'm going to put in my local host. I'm not going to say it is a legacy plugin because we're no longer using legacy plugin, but as you asked, you can still use legacy plugin. You just add it here. We can add additional permissions as well. So the current user access token. So if I want to allow this plugin to do API calls by itself, I can give this permission. We're not going to use this. So I'm just going to save this. And as you can see, it already rendered a configuration screen for me because it comes with the boilerplate. Let me just move this code page right here so it becomes a little bit easier. It already comes with this pre-configured configuration screen, which is a documentation. And you can open here and see how a lot of the methods, a lot of the hooks work, but we're not going to go into this. It's just a cheat sheet, if you like, to build your own plugins. But we're not going to use this. We're going to delete this. And this connect function here, it accepts all the hooks we're going to use. And we're going to start, as we said, with the item from sidebar panels hook. So I'm just going to grab this hook right here so I don't have to type it. And I'm going to paste it right here. So what is this? This is the hook, the item from sidebar panels, and it returns an array of objects, and each object represents a custom sidebar panel, right? So the ID I put here is my first sidebar. We're going to use the ID later, and the label is going to be the title that's going to show up right on the top. That's why I wrote hello from the sidebar title. You can also set additional permissions like start open. I can put this to false and it would start collapsed. I can also put the placement for something else. This is where TypeScript shines. It's helping me a lot here with the auto completion. I could put the placement at the top, at the bottom, at the middle, wherever I want. I'm not going to specify this because it's not really important. And here we have the content.